Look at this bright, sunny morning here in Moncure, North Carolina. You can't even see the loading scales. We are here at the granules plant. They're grinding rock back there to make the granules. It's a beautiful morning, 51 degrees. We were at Anytime Fitness right down the road. Worked out, took a shower. There was a Food Lion grocery store next door, so I was able to stock up on a few groceries, and everything is good. At this location, they load us right on the scale, which is right over here, but the sun's so bright you can't see it. You'll see it here in just a hot minute. This load is going to Atlanta. Again, it's a load of granules. I just talked to the loader on the CB. He knows what I'm getting, told me which scale to come to load. They have a north and south scale here. And I let him know that I wanted loaded up to 79,800 pounds, which gives me just a little bit of room for some fuel here a little bit later, which will definitely put me at 80 when it's all said and done, or a little above, but I'm allowed a variance for the APU. So it's all good. But this one good thing about this place, it only takes a little bit to get loaded here. These guys are very good. So I am completely okay with it. We're going to the north scale. As you can see, there's two. So they're coming and lining up. We're going to put it all right in the middle. Okay, so he stopped me short right where I needed to be. As you can see, we are on the scale. Right up there is a readout for the south scale. You can't see mine, it's up above me. It sits back a little bit, but they'll run that right up to the number, and that's one great thing about this place. They'll put you dead on the money, which is awesome. So I told him I wanted 79.8, and he'll put it right at 79.8. The Gizzy man is looking out, having a good old time today. He's getting a little bit restless. After about 6 days, he's ready to get out of the truck. And we got another week to go. He's gonna be a real butt the next few days. So that's all good though. But all right, we're gonna get this, get ready to roll. Catch y'all in a little while. Okay, we are parked up in Fairplay, South Carolina. I think this is exit 4. There's a TA Express here. That's where I go. And then across the way is a Love's. I'm going to tell you guys right now, that Love's over there, that Love's is a shit show. It's a mess. I went over there once, and it was probably 3 o'clock in the afternoon. These guys at 3 o'clock in the afternoon had everybody blocked in. Nobody could get to the fuel island. People were double parked in the drive. It was a mess, which is true of almost any Love's. But I found that these TA Expresses generally stay pretty open, and I will come here first every single time. And I'll go to a Petro TA every time before I go to a Love's. I gotta get Gizmo. Get out from under that guy's trailer. Come on, we're going this way. Got Gizzy out to go potty, and this man's in his truck, and the last thing I would want is for him to put it in gear and take off and harm Gizmo. That would just be devastating. But anyhow, so we're here, we're parked up. In a second, I'm going to show you guys what these roofing granules look like in there. I tried a brake check to get them to shift a little bit today, so I'm going to get up in there and take a quick look at how they've been riding. I only have 2 hours to go early tomorrow morning to get down to Atlanta to make this delivery. I'm going to be down there around 6 a.m. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to go over this week's numbers with you. That way you folks have a guide, again, as to how we calculate, or how I calculate, and how this week has been. It's been just, I think, 2,700 to 2,800 miles when I deliver this tomorrow, but I'll go over that. So stay tuned. Catch you in just a second. All right, we're going to hop up in here and show you guys this. Do this one-handed. We have a dark doorway. Now we'll hop up in. Whoo, it's warm in here because these granules, when they load them, a lot of times they've just been ground and they're hot. But so this is what the trailer looks like, obviously all tarped up. But this is just a big pile of granules. That's all it is. If I was to, I'm not going to stick my hand, I don't have a glove on, but it's just basically itty bitty little bits and grits of rock. That's all they are. And this is 45,200 pounds. He loaded it a little bit forward. I mean, I'm still plenty legal today, but they loaded this, it's probably about a foot to 2 feet forward of where I want it. And the problem with that is I was a little bit heavier up on my drives than I like to be, but it's all good. Like I said, I'm still legal, but I just don't like to be that heavy up front because it puts more wear, obviously, on my drive tires. So with the spread, I like to keep, oh golly, I like to keep my drives at around 30 in the back at 38, but as you can see here on the gauge, we're at 35 on the back, and I'm at over 32 on my drives. Again, still plenty legal, but I prefer to keep the weight very central. And then when I do, I'm 38 on the back and 30 up on the front. So we load center line, right down the center, in almost every case with stuff like this. And he's got it, again, a little bit forward, so it's cool. We'll deal with it. We'll make it happen. We'll get it done. It's legal. It's good. But Gizzy, I just had him out for a walk. And I'm going to hop up in here for a minute. And I'm going to head up to truck stop here in a second, wash my hands on my face, and then I'll come back out, put together a quick numbers video. My whiteboard today is going to be a piece of paper. So we'll do that, go over the week, and I'll catch you guys in a little bit. I have my empty miles for the week, my loaded miles for the week, my rates per mile for each, $1.96.4 for empty and $2.33 for loaded. I used 472 gallons of fuel, so I have my fuel expenses, Oakley expenses, and I'll go over all this now. This is primarily for somebody interested in coming to Oakley in end dump, and they want to get an idea of what a decent week is here, because I consider this to be a really decent week, and they want to know about what they can make. Okay, so here's how I figure this. All right, this trip right here was Cleveland to Houston, 41 empty miles, 1306 loaded. This was Baytown to Burkeville, Alabama. There was a load of salt, and that was 25 empty, 606 loaded. This was Birmingham to Doraville, Georgia with that fluff. This right here was Union, South Carolina. That was the stampings that you saw in the last video. That went to Darlington, South Carolina. It would load and deliver same day. This is the granules you just saw that I picked up in Moncure, North Carolina, and I'm taking them over to Atlanta and delivering tomorrow morning. Now, today is Saturday, tomorrow's Sunday. I'm at the customer in Atlanta, and we are delivering right now. Trailer's up in the air. It's 6:30 Sunday morning. This is a coal chute delivery. It's an easy one. They have a nice big grate and pit that we go into, so it's not a matter of getting super lined up. It's real easy here, but as you can see, this is the product, granules / headlap, that we're dropping off. I would imagine I'll be done probably in about an hour. That's a nice easy flow. Anything at Oakley that you load on Saturday or Sunday that you deliver Monday morning pays on that week. So that's the way they do it. It doesn't cut off on Friday. It basically cuts off loading over the weekend and delivering on Monday. So Monday morning delivery is the cutoff. So this load that I'm delivering tomorrow will pay on this week. So I had a total, and forgive my phone being a little shaky and the shadow that you're seeing. I can't get my lights situated, so we're just going to have a shadow and a shaky phone. So I had 472 empty, 2595 loaded for a total of 3067. I think that's a really good week, especially since I didn't kill myself. My average daily hours this week was only about 10 hours. I try to work a 10-hour day when I'm out for more than a week. That way I kind of have hours that keep rolling through, and I don't run out as quick the end of the week at the end of my 8-day period. So this is a really good week, and it really wasn't a butt kicker, but it was busy. So I had $927 on my empty miles, and I had $6,316 on my loaded miles for a total of $72.43 when I combine them. I just told you I used 472 gallons of fuel. That's a 6.5 mile per gallon average off of my loaded miles, or total miles, at an average of 301 a gallon. That came up to 1420 roughly that I spent this week in fuel. And my Oakley deductions are 308 per week. So when I bring these together again, 72.43 minus 1420 minus 308 gives me a weekly net of 55.14. Okay, so I hope that helps you. Again, this is primarily for people interested in Oakley that were wondering, but right now we're going to get to our daily scripture, and this one is in the book of Mark, chapter 11. And I said to you guys before that I was actually going to talk about Jesus not being a wimp. Truthfully, Jesus was a badass. He was not someone that got pushed around. He didn't let the religious leaders of the day give him a bunch of crap, to put it bluntly. This right here is the story of Jesus cleansing the temple. And it says, and they came to Jerusalem. They are Jesus and his disciples. And he entered the temple and began to drive out those who sold and those who bought in the temple. And he overturned the tables of the money changers and the seats of those who sold pigeons. And he would not allow anyone to carry anything through the temple. And he was teaching them and saying to them, it is not written, or is it not written, my house shall be called a house of prayer for all the nations, but you have made it a den of robbers. And the chief priests and the scribes heard it and were seeking a way to destroy him, for they feared him because all the crowd was astonished at his teaching. All right. Here's what I want to point out. He entered the temple and began to drive out those who sold and those who bought, and he overturned the tables of the money changers and the seats of those who sold pigeons. Now, something I want to tell you guys about this. It's not in the book of Mark, but it's in other parts of the Bible. Jesus actually had a whip that he made. And he was going through there with this whip and literally, just smacking the crap out of these people and getting them out of his temple. He was a very physical guy. If you think about this, he probably was a fairly toned and muscular man. He was a carpenter by trade. Back then, they didn't have power tools like we have now. There's no DeWalt or Skill or Makita or whatever brand is out there now that makes the manual labor part of woodworking so much easier. Okay, back in the day when Jesus was alive, everything was done by hand, chiseled, hammered, axed. He was probably a pretty studly dude, to put it bluntly. And when he entered this temple and flipped those tables, I'm sure that he was a figure to be reckoned with. They didn't want to challenge him. And you'll notice, nobody challenged him. He went in there. It doesn't say him and his disciples went in and turned over the tables and drove people out and did that. No, it says Jesus alone. Now you have to think about that. How many people were in that temple? I would guess probably 30, 40, 50, 100. I don't know. I'm just guessing. But even if it was just 10 or 20, Jesus is just one guy. Yet none of them banded together to kind of take him down and say, what are you doing? This is our temple. We do this. This is how we do things around here. But they didn't. Okay, they didn't. The account says he drove them out and he would not allow anyone to carry anything through the temple. Don't lose sight of this. All right, Jesus was not a wimp. The Bible calls on us to be humble and to be nice. Humble and nice. But it doesn't call on us to be these meek little wimps that are afraid to stand up and speak up for the truth and be bold for what needs to be said, especially in the name of Christ. So, Jesus would have made a great Marine. I chuckle at that. But don't lose sight of that. He didn't call on us to be a bunch of soft little wimps. He called on us, again, to be humble and to be nice and to be kind, but not to be afraid to stand up when we need to stand up for those things that are proper, correct, and right. And to do so with righteous indignation at times, okay? Because anger isn't a sin unless it's malicious. You can get anger. There's called righteous anger. That's completely justified anger. So that's all I have for today. Hope you've enjoyed the video. Thank you, everybody, for watching. I appreciate you subscribing. If you haven't subscribed already, please hit that button. Give the video a thumbs up or a thumbs down, whatever you think it deserves. If you're interested in Oakley, I always say Jimmysroadlyfe, Lyfe, @gmail.com. Email me. I'll be happy to answer any questions you have about Oakley. And if you have questions about salvation and your eternity, email me. I'll be happy to discuss that with you. That's actually the most important thing, where you're going to spend eternity after you leave this earth. I believe it's going to be heaven or hell, and you better know for sure. Hey, y'all take care. God bless. I'm going to jump off here. Jesus wasn't a wimp. Catch y'all down the road.